Kia from beautiful Aotearoa, that is to say hello from beautiful New Zealand. I am a career break guy taking a break from my corporate life tonight to try a September solo role-playing challenge which I heard about today. Some people deciding on the 1st, this is the 2nd for me. And this will be whenever you watch this video, or if you watch this video, hey, welcome. Thanks for taking a break with me. So the idea of the challenge is you play at least 5 sessions of 15 minutes or more. You can extend the challenge by playing with a new resource, and you can extend the challenge even more by sharing those sessions. So what I'm going to do is I am going to try and play 5 games that I haven't played before for at least 15 minutes. You know, I tend to do an hour video. And then I'm going to try and put these, most of them at least, up on this channel for people to watch if they want to. Mainly it's for me because that's what solo role-playing is. It's a chance for you to just play a game and enjoy it yourself when you can't be bothered trying to schedule half a dozen other people around a table. We don't want to put out like a bunch of chips and stuff. So anyway, what am I playing today? Haven't seen that transition in a while. I'm playing Runecairn. This is a game that I've had on my digital shelf for a while and really wanted to try. But I never got around to for whatever reason. So this Runecairn is, as you might tell from the title, a bit of a hack on Cairn by Yokai Gal. Apologies if I've mispronounced that name wrong, but it's kind of like a thing I do on this channel, as it turns out. Cairn itself is kind of a hack of Into the Odd by Chris McDowell, who's just written Mythic Bastion Land, which I really want to play, but I just need to find a time when I'm not trying to save money for things. Because import fees to New Zealand are horrible. It's like half the price of the book. Anyway, as an aside. So Runecairn, the kind of cool thing about this is, okay, so the system is based on Cairn, but the concept, it's kind of like Dark Souls or Demon Souls or Souls-like games, I guess, in that it's got, as you can probably tell by this artwork, kind of Viking-inspired setting, but in it, you're expected to die, and when you die, you come back to life at a bonfire, which might sound familiar. I never really played the Souls games much because I'm terrible at them, played a little bit of Elden Ring. Anyway, I thought I'd try this. What I've got a tablet with the rules, because I don't have this in physical book, which is sad. So I am just going to roll up a random character, as is my way, and we will play an adventure. Now the cool thing is this book actually comes with a pre-made entry adventure that you can do solo, and also it comes with the rules to play solo, so big ups to Byron Spear, the writer. So let's see. Adventure creation. I've got myself a little character sheet as well. Runecairn character, we'll get all to that. So you've got 4 stats: strength, dexterity, wits, and spirit. Then you've got some derived stats: vigor, vitality, speed, defense, resilience, fatigue, mead, because you've got that little Estus flask, which is cool. And then you've got some other bits and pieces. But anyway, to start, choose a name and traits. We'll get to that in a moment. The table for that's at the back of the book, so I'm just going through these other bits first. What you need to do is, for your ability scores, you roll 3d6 in any order, and then you swap any 2 of them. So let's just start with strength, because we can, and I realized that my fat head is going to be in the way of the dice, which are going to show up just around here. Well, that's a giant hand on the screen. So I'll just have to tell you what they are. This first roll is a 17, and you'll see it. I'm not lying. So 17. So that went into strength, I said. That I have to go back and forth into this is a little cumbersome, but hey. Hopefully that saves. Now let's do our dexterity. Dexterity is actually the most important one for this class. You know what? I'm going to roll 3 sets of 3d6. I'm just going to dex, wits, and spirit. So this is my dex roll, and I come up with 8. Definitely going to swap that. Going to do 3d6, which will be my wits. That's come up with a 7. Wow, that just keeps getting worse. Thankfully, I've got 1 good score. And then finally, my spirit is 6. Wow, this person, because I'm allowed to switch 2 scores, I'm going to switch dexterity and strength. This person needs to be dexterous, because I've kind of got an idea for them. You roll a d6 for your vigor. And vigor is your drive, self-determination, and focus on what stands between you and the hollow void. So I'm excited to play this. I get a 3. You roll a d6 for your vitality, which is how hale and hearty you are. I get a 1. He is not hale and hearty. So I think it pretty much means he gets 1 death, rebirth at a bonfire, and then the second time he dies properly. Right, so let's start putting some of these in. Character. Edit. So we had 8 for that one. Oh, wait, I'll do it this way. 7, 6. Man, that just kept getting worse. Vigor was roll of 3. 1 for vitality. But I was allowed to swap, so I'm switching 17 and 18, so this will be in 17 and 8, I should say. That's an 8. That's a 17. Resilience, which I believe is on the... We'll just save that in case. Resilience is on the other page. Resilience is Vigor and Vitality. And for Vigor and Vitality, I rolled 4 in total. Wow. So I got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And backgrounds, some items, but with this starting adventure, you don't actually start with items on you, which is fine. So notes, what I'm looking at is the Scout class. Scout. So, cool little description. In another life, you might have been a hunter, an archer, a scoundrel, or an explorer. With a pair of sharp knives and a trusty short bow, you easily made your way in the world, whether in untamed wilderness or cutthroat civilization. You found the paths and trails no one else could, weaving your way through danger and adventure at every turn. Your fast reflexes helped save you in situations where your quick tongue could not. In combat, you either slipped in close unnoticed or struck silently from afar with unerring accuracy, even in the time before you forged your own path. Oh, in the time before. Now that your fate is truly unwritten, the 9 realms are yours for the taking. So he gets cool ability of backstabbing, dashing to try and avoid damage, because like Can and Into the Odd, you automatically hit. It's just a matter of how much damage you do, which I love. He's also got a thing that does more damage, and he can also fire 2 arrows. Just not very often, because it takes fatigue, and I don't have a lot of fatigue. Right, so that is that character. And now, background, don't need that yet. Saves, no, resilience, which I worked out. Trackers, resilience of 4. Man, that's so little. Defense. He has no defense at this time because he has no items. To start with 10 inventory slots. However, at this stage, like I said, they start with nothing in this adventure. So now I'm just going to go through, make sure there's nothing else here. I've got fatigue, which has got a maximum value of 10. Can I put that there? There you go. That goes up every time I have I pick up something or I use my special ability. I think that's enough. Now I'm just going to quickly skip to the back of this book to grab a name. It's a cool little bestiary. The art in this book is actually really, really cool as well. Right, so to get ourselves a name, we'll do a D100. D10 to 10. 48. His name is Cuddlin. I pronounced that wrong, and I'm not even going to be able to put it in here because it's got strange characters, but we'll just put Cuddlin. They do actually have a little guide on how to pronounce all the little O's with lines through them and anything with a dash and whatnot, which is quite cool. Oh, cool. We can actually do some descriptions of him as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm just going to roll a d10 7 times, and that's going to give us a description of him. Save that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7866487. You don't need to remember that, but I will tell you what it means in just a moment. So let's go down to his description. This one was 7. He is short. I got a really loud keyboard. You might remember that from a previous episode. 8. He is freckled. For his skin. For his hair, 6. He has got flowing hair. The short flowing hair with freckles. He is a real charmer. 6. Actually, he's a little bit Inigo Montoya from The Princess Bride, except with freckles so far. His face, 6, is symmetrical. Oh, he's Denzel Washington. I took a university psychology and they pointed out that Denzel Washington's face is very symmetrical. Most people have a non-symmetrical face, as you can see. Look at mine. One side looks like a criminal, one side looks pretty good. 4 for his speech, he's droning. Wow, I wonder if I'll be able to roleplay someone with a droning voice. Anyway, 8 for his virtue, he is merciful. That's nice. If he was a hard ass, that'd be annoying. And 7, his vice is that he's nervous. So that's cool. I love it when they've got all these little tables. And then, like, boom, you have a character. Short, freckled, flowing, symmetrical, droning, merciful, nervous. So he does remind me, he's a little bit like an Inigo Montoya, except with much more droning, voice more like myself, and also, much like myself, seems a little bit nervous, but that's okay. Otherwise, he's got that lovely locks and what have you. I think that's all I need, and now I can actually kick off with this adventure. It's called Beneath the Broken Sword, and it's kind of the packed-in one. It's got a little preamble. So much have I told, but not heeded. Words of your friends fell false. I see my friend's sword lies broken, splattered and waiting in blood. And there's a picture of a sword. Looks like it's glowing, kind of like He-Man's sword in this. Not in the actual picture, just from having the screen there. Anyway, so this is starting adventure, introducing people and new wardens to the world of Runecairn. Wardens are the game masters, if you will. Right, so the goal is to navigate the Cave of Echoes, retrieve your weapons and items, acquire your mead flask, and overcome the stone demon to escape further into the 9 realms. So, spoiler alert, there is a stone demon. So this Cave of Echoes on the crossroads of the 9 realms. This cave is a knot in the skein of fate. Time flows differently and magic bleeds through the other planes. Because of this, omens are triggered in an additional way in the cave. Omens are things that can happen in the game. When the adventurer enters a new room, roll a d6, and on a 6, roll on the omens table. And there's a little table. Convenient. Right. So, there is a little map as well, which, I mean, you can't, no, that just does not show up at all. It's a cool little, looks like a hand-drawn map of the Cave of Echoes, and what it says is that we start in the Resumption. So, I mean, let's kick off. So, embers from a waning bonfire crackle and drift around the echoing cave, flickering on the jagged walls damp with condensation. You slowly wake with no memory of who you are or how you got here. That's the box text. What else it says is the warmth of a bonfire fills the area, and light from the fire dances on a broken sword leaning against the cave wall. Smoke trails towards the opening to the east, masking the damp scent of the cave. And moss and lichen line the rough walls, glowing with abandon. So Cudlin's going to take a look around, first of all, and he is puzzled. The last thing he remembers was he was hunting something. And then, was there a scuffle? It's a little vague, but whatever it was, he certainly wasn't in a cave. And he checks and realizes that, you know, his bow's gone, his daggers are gone. He's not even wearing his armor anymore because he had soft armor. In a grip of panic, he does see this broken sword, so he's going to rush over and kind of get that and like back into a corner and just check out the surroundings whilst holding this. So this is a broken sword. It's rusted and dented. Iron blade snapped near the hilt. Almost dull, but honestly better than nothing. Does D3 damage. Not to him right now. It's like, tetanus shot. That will require a tetanus shot. Yeah, so he's got that, and he's got to stop and listen. And I mean, other than the crackle of the fire, maybe the odd drip from the condensation, and the sound of his own breathing, he doesn't notice anything at this time. And as such, he's going to calm down and start looking around at the environment. He's kind of been largely watching the entrance of the cave that they mentioned off to the east. But looking around a little bit more, looking at this bonfire, so it flickers and crackles. And there's a charred and blackened spear driven into the stone floor at the center of the flames. And rather than wood, he notices that it's bones that are burning, bleached skulls and femurs, which does not make him feel more confident or safer. He does feel the need that he needs to find, where he is, where his things are, how to get out and get back to his people. So he's going to cautiously edge his way towards this entrance to the east, keeping an ear out, seeing what he can hear, keeping his eyes peeled, and then the dark, he's getting this light kind of silhouetting from behind, so he's trying to stay to one side. So as he gets to this opening, it's a gradual incline, and the intermittent sound of metal scraping on the stone, so that keeps him on edge. Like, he's got his broken sword. He'd prefer to have his daggers. He's normally got two of them. Sneaking forward quietly with the sword. And looking in, he can see a winding corridor, and two ragged, emaciated forms stagger languidly from one side of the cave to the other, occasionally raising a withered arm to strike the jagged wall with a ruined sword hilt. They see you, but their eyes are empty voids. And these ragged forms, they look like men, but their movement is empty and listless. Their skin is dry and worn like faded leather. And there's the sharp sound of their hilts as they strike against these stone walls. And looking, the corridor narrows, and it winds to the north. East, so now we're going north, leading to a set of stone double doors reaching from floor to ceiling. He's not quite close enough to see this, but he's watching these two figures. And you know what he is? What do we say he was? What was his description again? He was merciful and nervous. And so he's going to call out. He's like, hello. Who? Oh, sorry, droning. Hello. Who are you there? Where am I? But then he takes a closer look, and lo and behold, these people are not. These don't look like people. The husks of people. And they're not responding. They just continue occasionally to look at him with these dead eyes, and then returning to walk back and forth through this corridor, striking the walls occasionally with their sword hilts. So he's just going to come forward. He's ready in case they move, but he's going to try and weave around them. But not pick a fight, but get ready to run if need be. Okay, so these, and then if you've watched some of my previous videos, when you soloing a pre-written adventure, sometimes you make your commitment as to how you're going to act, and then you read a bit forward in the book. So looking here, this encounter, it says the ragged forms don't react if provoked or attacked. Well, he's not provoking them anyway, so they're not interacting with them at all. So he makes it through to this stone double door, this floor-to-ceiling double door. So hewn from the cave walls, two enormous handles. And the doors open easily, revealing an enormous chamber filled with stalactites and mites. And he's just, casting an eye back over his shoulder and just making sure that these creatures haven't changed their behavior. But finding it safe, he's going to carry on through these doors and see what he sees. So sharp wind shrieks through the vast chamber as he enters. Craggy stalactites grasp from the sunken ceiling, and gnarled stalagmites collect green water in shallow pools. Looking ahead, there's a smashed crater in the center of this chamber. strewn with broken chunks of stone. This really reminds me of the Demon Souls. I think I played a bit of one. I think it was either Demon Souls or Dark Souls 1. And there was just I'm fairly certain there was a room that just had a bashed up floor and then like a monster jumped down from the ceiling at you. So I'm nervous. Actually, he would be nervous as well. He's always nervous. That's in his description. At the opposite end of the chamber, so further north, I'd say, is a set of towering carved doors. Looking around, there's a cramped tunnel to the west, and the stalactites, they look actually quite precarious. So radiating cracks from this crater in the middle, they're filled with broken stalagmites and shattered yellow bones. Okay, so maybe it's just that some of the stalactites have come down and crushed people. Maybe some kind of pressure trap, which is slightly less bad than a giant monster jumping on you. Carved doors. So, you know what? I'm not going to have a read of that. So what's he going to do? So, again, cautiously moving forward, not going to walk through that middle part. He's going to edge around the west. I guess he's going more towards this. They mentioned a cramped tunnel to the west. So he's going to edge around the side there to see what's down that way, but also just avoiding the center of this room because very, very paranoid around it. So as he's moving around, so far above on the there's a ledge which is a bit obscured from where he is, but it's on the opposite side to him on the east. And looking up there, it's far above. Now this is where the wind's coming from, and there's occasionally a hulking shadow visible up there. So he is definitely staying well on the west. He is not going anywhere near that side. Although actually, if he'd gone under there, then someone wouldn't be able to see straight down. I could probably see him from here. Okay, we'll see what happens. But yeah, so he's gonna keep an eye on that ledge, try and work around to this narrow corridor on the west. Okay, so reading ahead, encounters. So far above, the stone demon emerges from the demon's ledge and jumps down onto the smashed crater. It looks like it is like Demon Souls or Dark Souls, whichever one it was, which is great. This is what I was looking for in this game. So you hear the thundering sound of an avalanche. A massive grey blur crashes down into the chamber, revealing a hulking humanoid shape, rocky and misshapen, bronze key hanging from its neck. It raises an enormous stone club. It says the first encounter will likely lead to the adventurer's death. That's awkward. Look, he is in no state to fight. So he's got this little sword. He's trying to get around to this little cramped thing. I'm figuring if it says it's a cramped tunnel, this hulking monstrosity won't be able to get in there. Might be able to jab in with a club. But clubs aren't great for jabbing. They're more for smashing things. So he's going to try and book it for that corridor. And if we have to fight, then we have to fight. If they run, the demon collapses the tunnel to the jagged chamber. Is the tunnel to the jagged chamber this one? Maybe, or was it the doors? Maybe it is going to try and destroy the... I know, I'm going to say it's going to destroy the door that we came from. Or maybe it is going to try and... No, let's say it's going to try and destroy this small passageway. I can only assume that's the one that it means. Overcome through combat, stealth, guile, or magic, or reward one soul. Okay, so... Yeah, he's going to run. He's going to try and... I guess he's going to try and roll his... He's going to try and stealth past it, so... How am I going to use this? What's stealth going to be? It's going to be dex, isn't it? Creation. So dexterity, agility, sneaking. Okay, so I'm going to roll my dex. I'm going to say that this thing has jumped down. Maybe it hasn't seen him, but he's seen it, obviously. So he's going to roll to try and save against dex. And if he does that, he manages to have zoomed past before this creature is going to smash this chamber. So what happens in this game? It is a roll under. Yay, Dragonbane. His dexterity is 18, so I have to do the save. What I'll do is I'll roll a d20, aiming for 17 or less. And a 20 is always a fail. Fingers crossed, should be pretty good, he says, jinxing it completely. I rolled a 4. Believe it or not, it's behind my head. You'll see it when it comes up in a moment. So yeah, this creature comes down, and he must have seen that shadow moving up there, and at that point he's like, something is coming and I don't want to be here. So he just takes off hell for leather for this corridor, and lo and behold, you can hear this creature land, the shudder. You know, he's off balance slightly, but he just scrambles forward for this hole and gets there just as this club comes crashing down behind him, and maybe it does collapse the tunnel behind him. The creature was always too big to get through, so it's not like I'm cheating on this encounter. Am I? Anyway. And he makes it into whatever this next area is. So, the soft flickering light of a bonfire dances on the smooth stone walls of the hushed corridor. The bonfire is warm and comforting. Although charred bones are fueling the fire. Man, if you had a firewood company, you might make just an absolute killing in this place. There's a wolfskin wrap, which rests on a rectangular flat stone at the center of this corridor, and it continues on north. So he's going to catch his breath for a moment, and again, listen out. Thankfully, small corridors, so it's not going to be anything. That creature's behind him, and he can hear it, and still feel a sense of shaking through the ground as it stomps around. So what he's going to do is, once he's caught his breath, he is going to investigate whatever this wolfskin wrap is. Like, why has this been laying on this little rectangular table type thing? But he is going to approach it with his sword and just try and gently open it up. Opening a box. See what's in there. So the wolfskin wrap. Wrapped in the wolfskin is a sacrificial bundle, which includes the main weapon from the adventurer. For him, it's a pair of hunting knives. So now he's got hunting knives. Awesome. Upon seeing the memories of a previous life flood back, including who they were and what fate befell them. So maybe he didn't remember that hunting trip. Or maybe that's all he remembered, but now he starts getting flashes of his village and his family and his life and things leading up to that last moment, which is still quite foggy. This really just renews in him his desire to get out and find these people again. So he gets his weapons, and he gets the ability to use his special attacks, so his backstab and his dodge. So the corridor to the north is dim, echoing sound of water, and kind of opens up to some area. It says a circular hole, but you wouldn't necessarily know that from here. But he's going to cautiously creep through. Generally, I think he's going to keep to a wall as he moves forward, trying to keep to the shadows, keeping that ear out, watching ahead, checking back behind him every so often, just in case. But he moves forward, further north, and he gets to a narrow corridor which opens to a broad cavern with a high curved dome ceiling covered in mushrooms and lichen. Well, that's nice, because all these other places have been quite cramped, so it's nice to have a nice high ceiling. Sense of air and the feeling that the cave isn't crushing him anymore rejuvenates his spirit a little bit. So at the center of the cavern lies a murky pool. A dusty skeleton sits against the eastern wall. There is no way that skeleton is not a trap and going to come to life and try and stab him. No way. And I think after having a giant beast jump down and try and smash his head, he is going to be understandably nervous about this. The skeleton. I think I am cheating a little bit. Like, I am channeling my Dark Souls, Demon Souls Elden Ring player, like, oh, look, that skeleton. That's 100% going to kill me. He might not, but yeah, there is the pungent rot and decay smell, condensation dripping into this murky pool. The crumbling skeleton slouch, his skull is lolling with one leg outstretched, and jagged stone corridor to the north. The depth of the pool is impossible to gauge, and the sides are slick with algae. Again, is there a way that he can go around the pool? So, did it say at the center of the cavern lies a murky pool? Okay, so if the skeleton is against the eastern wall, there's a pool in the middle. He is just going to sneak around the western wall. Yeah, he will check it because you never know, there might be a trap there as well. Maybe the whole thing is a trap to send him to the west. Anyway, he's staying away from the skeleton. It's dead there for a reason. Right, so what does he find? The lounging skeleton. I don't think he gets too... Oh, you know what? Let's say, does he get too close? 1, 2, 3. Actually, they've got a slightly different table in this for making rolls. Advanced rules, solo play. I normally just do like a 1, 2, 3 is no and no but, and then 4, 5, 6 is yes but, yes and yes and but. They've got their own one for this. So this one, favor or sorrow. If the outcome isn't immediately clear, ask the oracle. Simple yes and no. Roll 2d6 on the favor or sorrow. So I'm saying, does he get close enough to this? Is when he's moving, is it close enough that the skeleton, if it's going to react, reacts? So I need to roll 2d6 and check on this table. 2d6, and I roll a 11, which is sorrow. Yeah, you know what? So it does. Whatever's happening is happening. And what happens is the lounging skeleton stands and attacks the adventurer. So it's going to cross across from the pool, and he's like, oh god, oh, draws his daggers. And it looks like we're going to party here. Combat. Who gets to fight first? Combat, does it say? Rounds comprised of turns. On your turn, you move and can attack, cast a spell, move again, or reasonable action. So 2 things. Move and then something. You can move 40 feet. Declare actions before rolling dice. All actions, attacks, and movements occur simultaneously. So, the warden telegraphs the actions taken by NPCs or monsters. If surprised at the start of combat, make a dex save to act first. I don't think he's surprised, and like I said, he's close enough, thanks to that dice roll, that something has happened, but I think because he went on the other side of the building, he's got time to react. It's not going to be like leaping up like some kind of velociraptor at him. So he is going to get a chance to attack. I guess he goes first. I mean, that's what happens in Mythic Bastion Land, and perhaps also Into the Odd. I'm just going to assume that he gets to go first. All attacks, actions, and movements occur simultaneously. Okay, so he is going to attack this creature with his 2 daggers, and I guess the creature is going to attack him. And he will also try and react by not getting hit. So let's start off by rolling his attack. Adventure Creation, the Scout. So he's got his 2 daggers. They do d6 damage, and because he has got 2 of them... Oh, actually, you know what? Even better. Let me take that back. So he's got a skill that he can use, and it's called Backstab. He can duck behind the enemy and inflict a critical strike if he succeeds on his dex. So let's roll dex. Which means I need to roll 17 all... Oh, actually, can I do the dice roll thing? Can I play as him? And does it give me options? Yay, I did do it. Okay. And now you can actually see the dice thing as well. 17. Dice roll 14. I didn't do that right. Anyway, 17 means that he... that's weird. Is it adding everything? It is adding everything. Anyway, 17. I didn't say that up correctly. Meets beats. So he succeeds. He strikes the target for double damage. So he's going to roll 2d6 and take the higher of the two and then double it. 2d6 because he's got the two blades, and that's how that works. So his dice roll 5 is the higher of the two, so he'll double that and do 10 damage to this skeleton. How much life does a skeleton have? Does it have any armor? Because armor will take away from that. The skeleton has... It has a hollow clatter warns when they're near. So it has no armor. So it takes 10 damage to its resilience, which then puts it to 0. And that, I believe, actually will kill it. I know that with a player, you run out of resilience and then you start taking strength damage. Let me just double check how damage works. Combat. This is what I mean about, I found out about this challenge today. I'm like, you know what? Let's just play. Playing is way more fun than not. Where has combat gone? I had it in a moment. Cooperation, solo play. Defense, resilience. If you go to 0, no. Maybe there's an example that they could give me. There's one of those ones where sometimes a little preempting and preparing might actually be useful. But it's always the fun in that. Might as well just give it a go. Okay, I'm going to say that it's taking too long for me to find, so he's just going to do the damage. Oh, damage advantage. Hits automatically reduced. Yeah. So he does 8 damage, and he crashes and destroys this creature, which is great. So that's the end of that. That was surprisingly easy. He takes a moment to catch his breath after that. When the second skeleton climbs out of the pool. So this time let's see if he is surprised by it. Again, don't worry that there's going to be adding 17. 16 is less than 17, so he's not surprised. He does get to go first. And again, he's going to try and sneak around behind and stab this thing with his dagger. He's like, oh, what the heck? Where did you come from? But still manages to... does like this little barrel roll past it and then comes up behind... stabs in the spine. So he hits 2d6 damage. He'll get to take the higher of the two. Yep, there you go. So 12 damage. Like, for momentarily surprises, this creature starts pulling itself out of the murky pool, but then just barrel rolls, comes through. Maybe it's still in the process of coming out. One dagger will just take the head clean off it, and the second one smashes through the spine, and this thing collapses back into the pool. And now he's going to like stare into the pool, looking around, making sure nothing else is coming out. But looking inside the pool, he finds a glowing soul remnant, which he's going to pick out. Now, these creatures had spears, but that's not really his jam. He's got his daggers. Oh, and because he's going to put down that broken sword, by the way. But he now has his daggers, so that's going to take up 1 slot. He's not going to pick up the spear. Oh, you know what? Let's pick up a spear in the meantime. No. Is it going to stay? Okay. So he's got his daggers and he's got a spear. And he's going to carry on north, and he gets to an irregular rocky ground slants upwards and the corridor curves, revealing a long flat tunnel. So what he's going to do is he is going to, where it curves, he's going to go to the edge, but not around it, and he's going to listen out and see if there's anything he can hear. And if he can or can't hear something, he's going to cautiously peer out just a little one eye pass to see if there's anything he can see down this tunnel. Oh, a few more details. So a handful of broken arrows litter the ground at the bend of the cave. So he's going to suspect that there's maybe someone has been shooting arrows down here. So there probably is something up there. And lo and behold, when he peers his eye around, he sees a ragged bowman waiting at the end, holding a bow with a nocked arrow. You know what? I wonder whether the bowman has seen him. Let's roll his dex to see whether he was hidden or not. 10. Yeah, 10 less than 17. So he did manage to do that stealthily. So he sees this bowman, and then he just, he wants to duck his head back really quickly, but he knows that movement sometimes will catch their attention more than others. He did also notice that there was there was a little cramped alcove of sorts, which would provide cover from the archer a little bit further up. And he is going to try and sneak up to that, trying to stay behind these stalagmites on the ground. I like rolling dice. Let's roll a dice. 10, less than 17 again. So he stays really low, almost wolf-like, really hunched over, but, still on his feet, crouched right down, moves quite quickly. He's used to this one when he's been hunting and scouting areas. And he is trying to keep these stalagmites and even stalactites, whatever he can, between him and the bowman, just keeping an eye out. And if it looks away, he tries to move a little faster and get to this alcove. Now, when he gets there, against a cracked rear wall is another wolfskin wrap. And so I guess he'll look in that and see if more of his stuff is there. Hey, there you go. So removing the wrap causes a loose stone to clatter to the ground, revealing a secret room called the Lost Cell. Also inside the wrap are the adventurer's remaining items, fresh flood of memories, including what the adventurer seeks in the lush new world. So very quickly, what other items does he have? It would be great if I had a bookmark feature on this, but I guess that would be too easy. So the other things that he has is a quilted cloth. Oh, it's his armor. So he quickly puts that on in this little alcove. It's a little cramped, but he manages to do it. His elm short bow is there. A flask of oil, fire oil, which you can throw to have a slight explosive. And a skeleton key. So now he's going to put down this spear. Like, he never needed that spear. That's not even a thing. I wonder if I can just leave these as half to say that he's got a thing. Because I'm going to need this for when he is using his items as well. So he's got 5 things that he's carrying. Click. Okay, great. So he's got his bits and pieces, but he is going to see what is in this secret room that he just found. The Lost Cell. So inside, there's broken stones clatter as you enter the chamber. The ceiling is low and the air is old and stale. Sitting on the stone floor in front of you is a battered wooden chest. There's the oak weathered chest covered in 2 large gouges and banded with rusted iron. The damage looks to be from an axe. So it looks like someone was trying to hack it open. He is going to, inspect around it. Even though it's, maybe it's trapped. And then he is going to stand to one side and try and open it away from him. So I guess he's standing behind it, just giving it a little lift to see if it'll open. See if it's locked or anything like that. It doesn't look like there's a lock on it, and it opens easily, which reveals the relic, the armband of Filger. It has 3 charges, hammered bronze armband etched with animal likeness, summons an animal spirit that lead to fatal fortune. Yay! That's cool. Look, he's going to put this armband on. This is not something he came with, but it's cool. And then he is going to get his bow ready, and he's going to try and shoot the shade thing. So he's going to, again, just peer around. And when it's not looking, he's going to draw and fire and then duck back into this corridor. So, rolling dex to try and hit, I believe. Oh, wait, no, sorry. Because it is Ken, you automatically hit. It's just a matter of how much damage you do. And the special ability he has, he can fire 2 arrows without hesitation, roll damage twice, but it does cost him fatigue. So it means he's got 5 things and then he has to start dropping things, otherwise he can't do more effects. So I don't want to use that yet. So he's just going to use his bow, which is d6 damage, to try and get a sneak attack on this creature. 5, good start. The creature has, it has 3 resistance. So, chink. He fires and the creature just drops. Whatever foul magic was holding it together dissipates, and the creature falls destroyed, which is great. He is still going to nock another arrow and carefully move forward. So he's gone through to this lost cell. He's been from the murky pool, so southeast from where he is. He carries on, and he gets to a the cramped path that he's been on. It opens up to reveal a lush grotto exposed to the sky. Radiant beams of sunlight bathe the cavern in golden glow. A sprawling tree flourishes at the center, brilliant red apples dotted among the green. A hooded woman tends to the tree, holding a wooden basket. He, is nervous, but at the same time, he's got the question of, why is this woman and tree in this godforsaken cave? But at the same time, isn't immediately afraid of an old woman. So he has his, he will put away his bow, keeping an eye on her, and he will walk forward, his hands in a position where he could get to his knives if need be, but not immediately looking like he's trying to pick a fight. And he will likely hail her. I'll just see if there's anything more that I can see immediately. So a fresh breeze caresses the skin. The smell of apple and honey fill the senses. Oh, that's really lovely. Vast apple tree reaches up to the clear blue sky. This hooded woman is harvesting apples from the tree and placing them in a basket. And there's daylight, which is great. This apple tree, it's ancient and gnarled, covered in countless red apples, grows far above the cave stone walls. The woman is stooped, small and frail, wearing a simple white cloak, hood drawn around her head, and she turns and greets the adventurer. Okay, so there you go. She's kind of beaten him to it. He was was about to hail her, and then she turns around and she, in a soft-spoken dialect, antiquated and with piercing eyes, she introduces herself as Idis. And he's like, well met, Idis. Catelyn, do you know where we are? And she laughs a little and explains that, honestly, no, she has lived in this cave section, this little grotto, for as long as she can remember. She remembers the tree. She's been tending the tree. And that's what she does. She's never needed to ask more questions. She's been quite content with her state. He asks about the, have you been troubled by I passed a giant stone creature, and then the various undead were attacking me with, have you not been troubled by those? And she points out that no, I mean, that's never been a problem for her. Though she does know of the demon of stone. And she knows that it must be overcome. And so she's glad that Catelyn is here. She says, I have something that will be able to help you. You see, from these apples, they heal and they rejuvenate. And I have been brewing them into a mead that refreshes the spirit as well as the body. So he hands him a leather belt, and attached is a mead flask. And the smell of apple mead is permeating off it. And he takes it, and he looks. The the flask itself is plain, but again, like even with the stopper and the smell is sweet and soothing. So he looks up to thank her, and he notices that actually she's gone, and the tree is gone, and all that's there is sunlight and the faint scent of apples. And this takes him back a little bit. Not enough to draw weapons, because this was a very peaceful encounter, and the smell of the apples and the general nature of this room does put him at ease. It is still weird though, and he's just going to open up, and he can see, gives the flask a little shake, and he figures he's probably got 2 sips. And you know, hypothetically, if he was to take them, he would clear some fatigue, you know, so some of his resilience. Hypothetically. Unfortunately, from here, there's a path that he just came. These walls look like they can't be climbed to get out of the cave. But following down to the south, there's a passage heavily shadowed, leading up over jagged stone. And he fears, unfortunately, that is the direction that he needs to go. So he clasps his belt on with this mead flask, pulls out his bow again, knocks an arrow, and strikes forward. How are we doing on time? Oh, it's a wee while, but this is... Well, I've got my 15 minutes in. So the rocky terrain forms a crude natural staircase obscured in heavy shadows. The path climbs further up, leading to a shallow arch. There's a soft whistling sound coming from somewhere far under the stone. Under the stone. And he can see a crumpled form in a heap at the peak of the arch. Once again, a crumpled form is going to come to life and try and kill me. In fact, stone... again, this is me, the player. I'm fairly certain in the original Demon Souls or Dark Souls. I really do think it's Demon Souls. I used to play it on the PS3. I feel like there was a staircase and a creature at the top, and it would roll boulders at you. I'm wondering if this is like an Indiana Jones boulder trap. He is more concerned about the heap so far. So it's a smooth incline. Further ahead, the jagged ground smooths out and becomes a gradual ascent. Crushed to powder, broken and shattered bones have been crushed by some massive object, scattered and strewn down the path. There is absolutely a boulder. So he is concerned, like, why are there all those broken bones on this path? This is not something which is going to make me more healthy by any stretch of the imagination. So what he's going to do is he's got his bow. So he's going to draw the bow and take aim at this creature, or this heap at the top of the stairs. And he's going to let fly an arrow. And you know what? If it doesn't come to life, that's great. If it does come to life but then immediately dies, it's also great. But let's not have it throw a giant boulder at him. So, you know, automatically hits 1d6 damage. Do 2 damage. Is there a thing? Yep, there you go. It's a shade. Another shade attacks if disturbed or the adventurer moves away. So that must be what that thing is. Shade feigning death. However, this has 3 resilience. And its claws. So this thing begins to move towards him now. And it is going to try and slash at him with its claw. At this time, he's putting away his bow and he's drawing his daggers. This is the first time they've actually had a chance to attack. Because it's so far away. You know, he hits it, and it comes to life, and that startles him. That's why he hasn't quite managed to get his weapons ready, and it's going to get this attack in. So it does 1d4 damage. This will come off his resilience. 2 damage. Oh, 2 damage, but he has armor level of 1 from his quartered armor, so he only takes 1 damage as the claws hit him. Like, but now he has his daggers out, so he's going to strike with both. 2d6, take the higher. He's not going to bother with doing his fancy schmancy attack. 6. So he does 6. Just starts chipping away, like dislocating, or just not dislocating, bisecting off the arms and whatnot. Takes this thing apart effectively. As he's taking it apart, he hears a grinding noise and sees another shade, or at least sees a large boulder and then sees a shade who has just pushed it and wasn't visible before coming down at him. So it's a dex save versus d8 damage. This would be a really good time to roll less than... Great, a 1. Love to see it. So that absolutely dodges out of the way. This boulder comes careening past. Maybe he had not entirely taken apart this shade, and it just gets bashed into the wall behind him. But he knows, like, as soon as that has gone past him, he's going to run up at the shade before he can find another boulder somewhere. He's going to use his special attack, which is if he can roll his dexterity under 17 or 17 or under 18, he misses it. Oh, that would have been really cool to have been able to do that and not die. What happens if I miss this attack? Backstab. Retaliatory damage from the target at damage advantage. Oh no! So it gets to attack him back and do advantage, effectively. So it had a claw for D4. Which he is going to... He has got a movement, which is called... Oh, does he want to use it? I don't think he does. He's going to... He's going to wear this attack, actually. So 2d4 will take the higher of the two. Oh, of course it's 4. Okay, so he goes down to 0 resilience and then takes 1 point of strength damage as well. That sucks. Strength 7. Well, I forgot to roll the omen things. We'll roll this after this. So this creature slashes at him as he has tried to do his little roll thing again, but as he's rolling, this creature just swipes through, and so his momentum plus the creature swiping has just really torn through his arm, caused him a lot of grief. But now he's up, and he's going to swing with his double or dual daggers as best he can. Gets the 6 damage. That's enough to take this thing down. That was awful. The creature falls into I was about to say a screaming heap, but it's more like just an exhalation of air, and it collapses down. Oh, that sucked. Hey, let's talk about this meat thing again. So he can get 10 points of resistance restored. Well, he'll get all his resistance restored. He's got one more sip of the flask, and I feel like we're going to need that when we fight this stone creature. Stone demon. Yeah, he takes a moment. At this platform, what he can see is a ledge. So this flat, broad room littered with piles of broken and smashed bones, shattered weaponry, and crushed armor. Massive cracks litter the stone ground and jagged walls as if it's smashed by something immense. And looking over the edge of this, there's crashing echoes of something huge moving nearby, compacted stone dust covered in a dense layer of stone ground covered in a dense layer of fine dust. He can see this rocky ledge, and he, 2 and 2 together, this is that ledge that he was seeing before. That crashing noise, obviously Stone Demon. He must have just looped around the entire thing, and now he's up on the ledge where the creature had jumped down from. There's a heavy iron key hanging from a hook on the southern wall, so he is just going to quietly take that. So stalactites hang overhead, but only remaining stalagmites are on the edges. Others are crushed to powder. Looking over the edge, he can see the stone demon pacing around. He is going to draw his bow and take careful aim, and he is going to let off 2 shots, which is his special ability. I'm just going to reread that. So it says that volley, fire 2 arrows without hesitation, roll twice for damage. If he rolls max damage, then he can actually fire another arrow, which is cool. Okay, so damage is d6. So I roll 2d6 to see how much damage, and if I roll a 6, I'll roll another 6. Do I have the stats for the demon here, or do I have to go way back to the first time we meet him? I do have to go way back. That's cool. Jagged Chamber. So, 2d6. Keep them both. Hoping for a 6 because I get to reroll. I got a 6! I get to reroll another one! It's doing 10 damage so far. Plus 1. 11 damage. Okay, that's actually really cool though. So 11 damage into this creature. Which has 9 resilience. So all its resilience is gone. And I forgot to roll the omen again. You know what? I'm the only one who needs to... I'm running this for me. That I did it wrong, that's just a thing that happens. So I think it is actually probably meant to take away the strength next as well, because this thing's got... Otherwise it's going to say that he killed it. Which, you know what, for the sake of a solo session where I'm just learning it, I'm just playing, in future I will go through and I will do it that you take away the resilience and then you take away the strength, just like you would a normal character. But this time I'm just going to say that he fires these 2 arrows, and then the creature's turn and he sees just this beautiful opportunity, knocks this 3rd arrow, lets it fly, and it just straight through into the middle of the head of this creature, buries itself deep, and the creature lets out an awful roar, and then does it describe how it dies? What death looks like for this thing? Should be prepared. Stealth comes out. Okay, so it crumbles into dust, dropping a key from around its neck. And he also gets 1 soul, which is neat, whatever a soul does. And that's for leveling up, as you do. So he's now going to carefully climb down from this ledge and get the second key, which will allow him to open these double doors, because they had a giant key there. I don't think I read that description because it wasn't important when he was trying to run away. Carved doors, intricate raven relief, faded by time and wind. Keyholes the size of a fist at the center of each. Opens with 2 keys, 1 on the stone demon, 1 on the demon ledge, which we did. Unlocks with a resounding clunk or chunk as the heavy doors swing wide open and piercing wind howls. Which is probably why this next area is called the Whistling Channel. So a violent piercing wind shrieks through the narrow stone channel, cold tearing at his skin and chilling his breath. Ice gathers on the stone walls of the path and is perilous. So the wind casts this foul stench. Just drowns out all sound, just roaring through his ears. Water runs deeper inside this cave, and there's like a frozen stream. This is, he pulls his arms in close. His heart's still pounding from that last encounter and climbing down, so he's a bit warmer, but at the same time it's just this sun-biting chill. Mist and fog gathers at the end, obscuring the rest of the path. Somehow, though, this mist and fog is stationary, and daylight is just visible in the distance through it. The sun chill. He's going to move forward, again, drawing his bow, pushing forward. Actually, no, he's going to keep his daggers because bows are not very good if something jumps out in this winning condition. But he's going to push forward, covering his eyes, trying to keep himself warm, really pulled into himself. Moves down towards this fog, and then pushing through the fog, he finds a plateau exposed to the sky. It's nice to see the sky again. There's an enormous raven perched on the... Oh, I forgot to take my 2 fatigue for doing that thing before. An enormous raven perched on a broad ash stump, black eyes staring. However, between Cadlin and the raven is a dead thing, clad in broken armor and wielding a bearded axe, eyes glowing with red malevolence. Okay, so that wasn't the boss. This is the boss. The stinging wind is even stronger, lashing the skin, carrying this putrid stench from this creature. The death blue dead warrior waits, red eyes scanning. The enormous raven shuffles on its perch and just watches. It's like 10 feet tall, pitch black. Huge talons, and it cocks its head at Cadlin. He can see that this cave itself he's close enough to an edge, so he peers over and he can see that it's hundreds of feet to the ground. There's forests and mountains visible through the cold mist beyond. As he looks, and he turns back because this creaking, dry, guttural voice, but absolutely filled with hatred, rings out. And this it's coming from the creature, the Draugr, if you will, and it says how it fought the living in the war, and it demands that he either forfeits a soul that he earned from the demon, or some of his life, one vigor, if you will, which is all he has, so he's not going to give that up. He doesn't really know the value of the soul yet, but he's going to take a moment to consider this, because why does this creature want a soul? Is giving a soul to this creature a good or a bad thing? If the creature wants a soul, he probably shouldn't have it. And he's going to ask, why is it that you want this? And this creature is just going to repeat, give me the soul or your life. And he's going to, you know what? I don't think I will. And it turns out we are getting in one final fight. The death blue corpse, driven by hatred for the living, eyes burning red with malice, emits a reeking stench that marks his presence. Oh god. At close range, strength save to avoid losing a turn to vomit. I don't see this working out well. Okay, so you know what? Let's roll the strength save to see if he vomits. I believe I need a 7 or less now. Nope. So he gets close and then just doubled over, recoiling. He was going to do his roll, which otherwise worked. Let's ignore that time with the shade with the rock. So he was going to do this roll, but then as he gets closer, like he actually just physically can't. He's just going to clear his throat to one side. And this creature is going to roll in great hand axe, bearded axe, swinging. And as such, our Cadlin has a special escape move, which is a dash. Deftly dodge to evade an attack. It takes 1 fatigue. Oh, the other one only took 1 fatigue as well. You know what? I'll just say that second fatigue I spent is the one I'm using here. Success means he avoids all damage, and failure means that the attack only does d4 damage. So it is a roll for dex. 17 or less. 2. That is certainly less than 17. So he manages, as much as he's, I guess he's dry retching, and the creature comes in, it thinks that he's completely incapacitated, but at the last minute he's still got enough sense that he rolls out of the way, and the axe slams into the ground behind him. He pulls himself up, and he is going to... do I have to roll that close range strike? You know what? I'm just going to say it happened once. He is going to roll to try and do his special stabby thing, where he rolls his dex. And if he gets it, which he does, he rolls damage advantage because he's got his 2 daggers, and he gets to double the damage. So 2d6. And we'll take the biggest one and double it. Which is higher, 2 or 2? So he does 4 damage. The creature has 8 resilience and no armor. Okay. And this creature again is going to swing at him. And once more, he's going to try and dodge the heck out of the way of this giant axe thing. 17 or less, 16, they're close, but still enough. He's... The creature, the way that it's moving the axe, surprisingly sprightly for a dead creature. Most things that you encounter that are dead don't move a lot. But you know, he's got his wits about him, and he is ducking and dodging and diving. He's back. He's going to try his double stab thing, which he manages to do for 2d6. 5, double that to 10. So this creature comes down. One dagger is just going to slice through the sinew of the arm, making it drop this axe. And the second one is going to stab through underneath the chin of the creature. Pierces the brain, and the eyes dim, but the hatred remains. And the smell is awful, so he is just going to, like, yeet that off the edge of this cliff here. And then he's going to look to the raven. The raven has still got its head cocked. But when it sees that he has defeated this Draugr, it will bow its head. And flaps its wings a couple of times. And looks to the sky and looks back at him, and then looks to the sky. Flaps its wings again and looks back at him. And he gets the sense that it's effectively asking him if he's ready to... or willing and ready to journey with it into the land beyond. And he realizes that there's nothing for him here. He's come to the conclusion that he is not somewhere that he can return to the life he had. So really, it's this new life that he can find. And so the raven crouches, and he climbs on its back. It springs off the tree stump. Oh, no, it doesn't. I take it back. So the raven crouches, and he nods to the raven. Crouches. Oh, the raven nods back. Crouches, springs into the air from the tree stump, taking to the air with a gust from its wings. He has to take a couple of steps back. It circles around, hovering for a moment, before flying down, grasping Catelyn firmly in its talons. Flies off into the unknown sky, onward to this new land below. And he has successfully escaped the Cave of Echoes. Awesome thing about this book is it's got a whole bunch of tables if you want to generate adventures of your own as you go. It's got a delve generator, so you can do things like there's objectives, you can find things, you can infiltrate places, escape places, rescue things, hunt things. It's got things that you will find in cairns, outposts, ruins, villages, caves, strongholds. What enemies do, what NPCs are like, what random encounters for all these places, depending on whether you've got a treasure or a mystery, mundane obstacle or conflict. This book is great. It also has rules for, I think it's ideally meant to be played that you have a warden who takes people through the story, but again, it has those solo rules in here, and it also has rules for cooperative play, which I love, which is where you don't really have a warden, or both people or all people are a warden, you all just kind of work together. I played a game of Twilight 2000 with the Getting Dicey people, Reese and Reagan, and we did cooperative play on that. I really enjoyed it. Can't wait to play it again at some point, but I don't know when. Anyway, this has been the first of my September solo challenge sessions. Played for at least 15 minutes. This is a new resource. I'm sharing this with you, wonderful people on YouTube. Thank you for taking a break with me. Don't forget to look after yourselves. as I said, I'm going to try and do this every week for September. If I don't, I don't, because this isn't a job. This is just me taking a break. And so playing these games is about having fun, and I'm going to have fun doing it. And if I don't, then I won't do it. Look after yourselves, and I hope to see you next time.